Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's workout. So, this one's going to be a complete surprise to me as well. Um, what a way to start! What a way to start. Well, anyway, since we're already behind, why don't we go ahead and just get this going? We're going to start off the cold reads with Caitlin. So, whenever you're ready, Caitlin, go ahead and give us a read.
Sorry. Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. Are we popcorning? Is that I forget the procedures now?
Oh, it's because you've gone last so often frequently?
Yeah.
Of course, we're popcorning. That's how it always works.
I'm not better. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. Cassidy.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you, your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. Let's go to Leonard.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. CCS 1000.
I think it's what I think it's what you don't choose that defines you, your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. I'm going to have to go with Ram.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born. The people in the neighborhood are my people. If people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. The city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. Go on, Tanya, R. 1999.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and fell completely through. David.
Hello. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you: your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. How about Andrew? Or as it's written, Andrew?
Yes, I am indeed a question. Um, I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then fell completely through. Um, let's go, Michael.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. Ogre.
I was so convinced I was going to go last again. I had it in my soul. All right. Is my mic good?
Absolutely.
Oh, yay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their soul. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then fell completely through. And then Ellis.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, neighborhood, city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. I think there's only one option.
There is only one.
Bring it home, baby. Bring it home.
That's me, right? I'm not looking.
Yeah, no, that's you.
Yes,
You're the
All right.
Highlander.
it's you.
A lot of people define themselves by their jobs, their hobbies. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then fell completely through.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do our little let's do our little script breakdown, shall we? All right, let's go ahead and actually analyze this thing. So, first things first,
Yes,
what kind of
sir.
microphone technique are we using? Voiceover or voice under?
Over.
What presence do we need to have on the microphone for this one?
But this looks like an audiobook script, so I would say over.
Okay.
This is an aerial shot over a city in the beginning of a movie.
I was gonna say it sounds like one of those gritty, like
Definitely.
there's a lot of visuals coming on.
This is
Set the
so
tone.
much the intro to a noir film. This is Blade Runner.
Okay. Okay.
It has to be over.
Has to be over. Okay.
Because,
Mhm.
well, even thinking about, like,
It's an
thinking about it
intro.
having some, even if it's having some visuals, if it's just like shots of the city, I feel like it would still be voice over because the visuals are more like instead of the usually when it's narration over visuals, the narration is like kind of accenting the visuals. Here it's the opposite. I think.
I'd
Okay.
go very good. I'd go with over as well because it's all just one coherent story. It stands on its own merits. It doesn't need visuals.
Mhm.
And if there are visuals, fine, but it stands on its own.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to do a really quick definition rundown?
So, sure, a quick definition rundown of voiceover versus voice under generally denotes your presence on the microphone. So, a voice over performance is one that's going to be right up front on the microphone. It's where your performance is front and center in the production. So, that would be things like animation and video games where your character, your performance is the main thing somebody's going to be paying attention to. Of course, it extends beyond that, but that's the general idea. A voice under performance is one where your voice is not the main focus of the production. Usually, what you're trying to do is get somebody to pay attention to images on screen or something that's going on in front of them. That could be things like the inner dialogue of somebody on screen. You know how they usually have the quiet voiceover doing that, or it tends to be really, really common in automotive commercials. That tends to be a more common place you'll find voice under, but advertising in general uses voice under.
I'll
So,
add one more note here that this totally reads like whoever's talking is a character in the show.
mm,
Even if it's an intro thing at the beginning of a movie and you don't see the person's face, you will be seeing this person's face throughout much of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, they're really setting the tone.
absolutely. I generally tend to agree that this would best be served with voiceover as a voiceover performance. So your performance is going to be the most prominent thing here in this particular scene. So let's go ahead and talk about the um, let's talk about your potential character. What can we tell? Oh, Yes.
Let's also do a bit of a structure breakdown of TMC for our newest attendee.
A bit of a structure breakdown. Yes, of course. I was trying to expedite this for time, but I suppose familiarizing people with what we do here will generally help. So, yes, thank you, thank you. She walked all the way across the apartment just to have me do that. So, thank you. Spouses are awesome. Time is a construct, yeah. Well, still, it's a construct that people need to abide by. So, yeah, I know, right? So TMC is broken up into three different sections. So we start with cold reads, then we move to a script breakdown, which is what we're doing now, where we try to agree on specifically how we're going to approach this script. And then we move on to the directed portion of the reads, where we go back through the reading order that we established during the cold reads, which is why that list is up there in that order. And everybody else who's not performing gives some input or insight into whoever read's performance based on what we agreed during the script breakdown. So that is the general structure of how we do things. If you have any questions or concerns or anything about it, please feel free to either reach out to me or the mod team. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Most likely they'll redirect you to me anyways, so just feel free to DM me regardless. But right now we're going to go ahead and go through our usual script breakdown. This is not exhaustive. It's also not definitive. Like I always say, go and get as much training and practice as possible everywhere you can, because you never know if a method is going to work for you better than another. All methods, I feel, have some use to different people and different personalities, and I think you need to experience as many of them as possible to see what fits for you. Maybe TMC's process does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you need something that's a lot more detailed. Maybe you need something that's a little bit more, I don't know, theoretical? I don't know. I mean, it's all up to you. You have to experiment around and see what will work for you specifically. But we're going to continue on here, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. So first things second, second things second, I should say. We already got the first things first out of the way, which is your general microphone technique. Now let's go ahead and talk about who is speaking. Tell me about this person. Who are they? Yes, in other words, next.
A detective or oh, go ahead.
I was say one of the first things that jumped out to me was the missing G in missing, which could be said a lot of things, but to me it indicates like what where did my brain go? Social structure, class, thing,
Slightly lower
regional. What?
on it. Oh, okay.
Like
Go ahead.
regional accents and class demarcator bitters. Sorry, I'm just looking at a stroke today. God damn. Yes, hi.
It's okay. It's a Monday.
Yes. Missing G. It indicated something, but I also noticed it wasn't in the rest of the script. But yeah, that was my first thought.
Yeah, this person is not being formal. He's being very real.
Okay. So a detective type, informal, regional. We'll go ahead and put regional down there.
Nitty
Yeah,
gritty.
detective or skip trace.
I don't know what skip trace is, so
Hunt down people who have skipped out on while owing money.
okay.
Yeah, either financial or legal responsibilities. If they've disappeared, then a skip trace is hired to find them.
I see. Skip trace. Gotcha. Okay. Any other thoughts? Who is this person? Who's speaking in this? Who are you when narrating?
We're from the seedy part of town. We're based in the seedy
Yes.
part of town.
Mhm. Yeah, Monday's hitting me hard too. I can't write.
This is so noir, like classically noir.
The place I immediately went with this was like Maltese Falcon, Humphrey
Oh
Bogart.
yeah.
Okay.
This is like someone's gonna call someone a dame at some point.
Good.
Okay.
Nick Valentine, if you prefer.
Hey, you know what? We'll go with that. We'll write that down.
Eddie Valiant.
Oh, where was that for? Eddie Valley. Yeah,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
that's the one. That's the one.
Bob
Oh,
Hoskins.
okay.
Nick Valentine. Eddie Valiant. All right. Any other thoughts? Again, we're throwing everything against the wall. So whatever idea that you have, please throw it out there. Also, just for your own reference, please pull up something that you can make your own notes on. Whatever speaks to you the most is something that you should note down as a decision you should make for your performance in the script. So, whether you're an old fashioned paper and pencil kind of person, or you've got a laptop on the side, an iPad you can take notes on, um, Google Docs, write down something. It's best to be as prepared as possible. Okay, so no other thoughts. We got.
Well,
I think
I
we
was
got to.
gonna.
Oh, okay.
I'd say he is a local, which also to me conveys a sense of comfortability. So this is somebody who would be speaking from a place of, I know where these streets are. I know where that didn't used to be. I know where that used to be. So he's gonna be relaxed,
Okay.
in some way, shape, or form.
Is at home here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a
Now we're
crappy
moving
home,
on
but it's
to.
his home.
Now we're moving on to more of the like the emotional aspect of it. So I think we've got a good idea of who this person could be, and there's plenty of options there. And again, if you'd like me to review, I can review what's written down. But let's go ahead now. Yeah, and let's talk about the kinds of emotions that this should be portraying. So we're gonna go ahead and go with maybe casual. Does casual sound good? Like that's one of the emotions that this person should be portraying while speaking.
Yeah,
I don't know that I'd call it casual. I mean, it's
Okay.
I put
definitely
like
not formal, but casual implies kind of lackadaisical, and that's not
Okay.
what this is.
So informal.
yeah. I would say
Okay.
that's probably a little bit more of a appropriate word. Some words that are emotion like things that I noted down was like self-reflective or introspective. They're going to probably be more subdued. I don't know if solemn's too strong a word, but in that Venn diagram, maybe
We'll add it.
even
We'll add
maybe
it.
even like I put conflicted because it's like, oh, pride, like I've been here, da da da, but he's also dealing with finding missing people, and that's a gritty kind of thing. So, that's he's conflicted about all that. Maybe a little haunted because of the job and being his home. Um, I also put jaded, but again, I think that might be a little bit strong of a word. That might be going one way too far on
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it
the
down, but
meter.
this doesn't really give me uh, any indication of this character being jaded. Just more like,
Yeah, right, right,
this is what
right.
they
Yeah,
deal with all the time.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
I think he likes what he's
Um,
doing, and he's very much at home with what he's doing, and it's a dirty job, but he's comfortable doing it.
Okay.
I would even say that this is I don't know if the right way to say it is an afterthought, but this is him to me telling a story. It's him, he's experienced this before. This is him opening up a situation that he's explaining to someone.
So would you say something kind of like reminiscent?
Yes, I think that's a
Okay.
good word.
I
I
thought
don't know.
of
Go ahead.
reading it a couple of times. Yeah, sorry for cutting you off. Just being a patriot, pious, with a bit of sentimental um, aspect to the intruder. Like, so in this case, highlighting the missing people. Those are who find missing people. Hence, detectives, basically, those outsiders. In this case, I would like to call it intruders. It reminds me of a Syrian show where it's like a little neighborhood gated, and it talks about the period of how French people used to occupy Syria. So, um, it's like these people know every crevice, every area of the neighborhood, and when the French tried to go in, they knew how to fight them off. So I think this is what we're talking about, or this character is feeling. Is like, you don't know my neighborhood. I know every crack in it. And if you fall in one, oh boy,
Okay.
this is
So
this is
we
what
could
I think. This is what I'm
we could
imagining.
like boil that down to a single descriptive term. Because I like that feel, and I think I understand exactly what it is you're going for. I'd like to like boil that down to something that would be, that you could note down. Maybe familiarity. Okay, you noted down patriotic. Yeah, we'll go with yeah, familiar and patriotic sort of ideal. I almost forgot the I in familiar. One of the I's in familiarity. Okay. Any other thoughts as to the kinds of emotions that you should be portraying as this character?
With the jaded statement, I think there's a little bit to go there because he doesn't seem. I'd almost call it more like world worn, if that's the right world weary, if that's the right term. Because like this like turducken of cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around souls, doesn't really sound very friendly. Um, and
Good way to describe it too.
yeah, I try. Uh, and yeah, there's something about it all. Like it's not what you, it's not. It's the things that you're not choosing. It's like there's something kind of worn down about this. Like he's seen it all, but also he's not. Maybe jaded isn't the right term, but I think there's something there of like he's been hit with, or I say he, like this person's been hit with a lot of punches.
This character archetype is often depressed.
Okay. Uh, depressed, tired, maybe one of those other
Yeah,
things.
tired is that because I think I can see jaded. Then there's that bit at the end where he's like, kind of, I hunt for those who land in the cracks and fall completely through it. Almost like kind of is compassionate in the sense of like saying that even these bad people, like they were in this city is brutal and it maybe influences them and is the reason that maybe they're not broken from the get go. So like there's some optimism lined in there.
I would
Yeah,
even say like wary.
Okay.
Yeah, I had noted, and I think there's just traces of it, but like, yeah, to go off of, oh, I forgot, optimism. Like, there's a bit of determination and or hopefulness there, right? Like, this is my area, and I want to do my best to try to, you know, I mean, it's not like to make it as good as it can be, or help those that are there, you know.
Okay. Okay. Um,
I
I
wanted
think
to
we've got a
also add quickly. Okay,
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what I was thinking quickly. Yeah, quickly. Just the last line. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then completely fell through. I thought like he's a master planner, master tactician. Um, uh, what are the emotions or the feelings that define those words? Um,
Well,
Strategic.
I don't want to
yeah,
say
I would
psycho,
say they're
strategic,
strategic. They're in control. They are confident.
in
Those would be the
control.
kinds of things that would
Calculating or calculated.
calculating. Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a good one.
Calculated. That's the word. That's the word. Calculated. Yeah. Because the
Okay.
last sentence just spat that out.
So, final aspect of our script breakdown for right now is who are we even talking to?
I mean, it could be go with the introspection thing. It could be, talking to yourself, inner dialogue, or I also thought maybe to your partner, whether they're, new or not, you could be talking to them, just kind of, getting all of this off of your chest, or maybe they are new to the area, got reassigned, and you're kind of giving them the 411. I think this would be lesser likely, but I also, just to make an exhaustive list, put like a potential client,
Okay.
like someone who you're going to help. I mean, you're giving them this emotionally charged speech and everything to try to, connect with them and empathize and everything.
Okay.
I
See, Matt,
second
you're
the
taking the whole list.
yeah, I second the whole entire coworker slash partner. It almost seems that, especially with the line, if finding missing people is your main job, it almost sounds like he's addressing somebody who's familiar with the scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see either the talking to the junior prospective partner, or to a prospective client, or possibly even to a reporter.
Interesting. A reporter.
You could be talking. This person could be talking to their therapist.
Okay.
Could be. Could be a lot of things.
I like the
It's really
phrasing of it
wide
actually
open.
does give reporter and clicks for me. I personally went the antagonist way, and I think it's like he's challenging an intruder. Excuse me, challenging his authority or his neighborhood. So he's like, careful, careful. So this is my city, this is my neighborhood. I know every crevice and place in it.
Okay.
That's what I thought of it.
This doesn't come off as
Like
though
an
he's talking to an
intruder.
antagonist at all, though. Like, there's very little about this that comes off as any kind of
Not
like
an
establishing
antagonist.
themselves or threatening or anything like that.
I would.
Maybe like a rival?
Just that last sentence is
It's still, I don't know. It still
exactly
doesn't
like a
necessarily.
rival.
It still doesn't come off that way, though. Like, I don't see that personally. I mean, if I'm missing something, please enlighten me. But this doesn't come off as like, hey,
I
this
mean,
is my territory. I am, this isn't like a taken, I have a special set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you kind of deal. So
I do see
I'm
like an
just not seeing that.
authoritative, like a mentor, like a Clint Eastwood, if you would.
Okay. Yeah, and I could see mentor mentee absolutely. Um, yeah, I'm just not seeing like a rivalry thing happening here, or a threat to this person's authority or where they're at or where they are.
last couple of sentences that allowed me to highlight this idea, but I could be wrong, of course. Maybe there are other options that we just spoke of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
just
see the attitude as this may be a cesspool, but it's my cesspool, it's my home, and I'm going to do my part to make it the best possible cesspool it can be.
I mean, if he's talking to a reporter, right, he could be addressing from like a third person, if that makes sense, using a third person, kind of like a mediator. It could be a thing.
okay. Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and put it down.
I just feel like I should either be smoking or like drinking whiskey while I'm doing this.
I did get that southern twang feel to it, like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why
I
not
mean,
Okay.
both?
professionally speaking,
Mhm.
no drinking on the job, but I
Right.
mean, this isn't professional.
Yeah.
And I've already heard, I've already heard recordings done by people
Yeah.
who do drink on the job. So
Like I want to just say like,
that out there.
and felt really sooky after like every line.
Called method acting. Thank you.
Don't get me started on method acting.
Alrighty then. So
Shall
I
we
think we've
talk
got
about I was gonna ask if we could talk about the other accessories, or these are things left to the performance, like individual perform. Like, is he grabbing a cup of whiskey? Is he smoking a cigar? Is he wearing a suit, and so on and forth? Well, that's enough.
that's definitely
to
going to be up to the individual actor to come up with.
Yeah.
Do
But
we need to take a
because
break to go get props?
I mean, yeah, go for it. Why not? I'm serious. Why not?
Yeah,
Grab a
so-
prop.
Oh no.
If you have a glass of whiskey and a cigar, or you can pour yourself one, sure. Just make sure that you can keep a clear head throughout the rest of the reads. That's all I ask for. Please don't make it awkward.
Andrew pulled out a fucking wand. Andrew just pulled out a wand. He was like, abracadabra, and this shit.
If a wand works, a
Wingardium
wand works.
Leviosa. Got it.
I mean, I can go grab my pistol if you think that might help, but I'm just saying, like, seriously, give yourself, and actually, this is a good point that you brought up here, or that you highlight here. Give yourself as much of an opportunity to be as realistic as possible behind the microphone. Like, give yourself everything you can. Make sure that you have an idea in mind of what your character is doing and act that out. This is why I say it's super important that when you make your recording space, have enough room in it that you can reach your arms out wide and maybe just barely touch the sides of your recording space. You need the room. You need to be able to move. You need to be able to express yourself. So do it.
Yikes. I'm in a closet right now, so I can't really speak much.
Look, situations being what they are, if you do want to give yourself the best opportunity possible, that's what you should go for. Something wide enough to reach out and be able to, extend your arms and move while you speak. But yeah, I mean, if you need to go and grab something to help you with that, go do it. It's acting. Have fun. Props are used all the time on stage. You might as well use them behind the microphone. So, before we dive into the directed reads, does anybody have any questions about the breakdown, about what we've done so far, about what's coming up? Anything at all?
Big thing that I'm
I
wondering
would love
about
it if
here.
we can quickly. Sorry about that. Just quickly, if we can write, if you or Carissa can write down those directions and things that we discussed in chat, just to keep it in front of me. See it.
Okay. They are on our Twitch stream. I did write them all down onto the document. You can check out the stream.
Oh, I see that.
Right
Yeah, I see
here.
it.
Yeah,
I have
so
the
it's all
stream
written
on,
out
yeah.
there. I would definitely highly encourage, wherever possible, find somewhere to take some notes for yourself, because that's just going to make you way more prepared.
My big
Leonard, yeah.
question my big question on this is, what exactly does this guy mean with the line, cities wrapped around bodies wrapped around their souls?
That's a good one. I was thinking that too.
I just feel like
Okay, so
he's
in the
just trying
actual
to say
movie,
you.
that line is a little different and it makes a lot more sense, but we can talk about that later.
I think
Scripted
the
it.
whole
Scripted
point
it.
is being that,
He
like,
You
where
plays
know,
you're from
violence.
becomes a part of you. You know what I mean? Like, you're in this city and it becomes a part of you, basically. Is the long and short of it, I think.
dang.
Yeah, I think it's actually tying to the first line.
Yeah.
Or second line, sorry. Your family, your neighborhood, your city defines you.
That line
This
is also different.
the city is the holding your body, like that is where your body is located. Soul is located in the body, in the city. This thing is defining you.
Yeah, the on those first couple
Yeah.
lines, the way I read them is you can be somebody who really doesn't care at all about their family or really doesn't care at all about their neighborhood or about their city, and what you don't care about, that kind of determines what you are as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. For instance, I think it all ties back to, again, I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Um, I'm not going to get super line reading because I want you guys to make your own decisions, but this one's kind of a freebie. Don't is a big key word in that first one because that first sentence, because it's also your premise for the rest of everything else that you're saying. Your family, your neighborhood, your city, these are all things that you don't choose that define you. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Again, well, I mean, you can choose to
Mhm.
accomplish things. But yeah, then
That's also a
cities.
line that's different in the movie. You guys should watch this movie. It's really good.
You have some homework. Go watch the movie. But
It's a good
Yeah,
movie.
we'll be back in a couple hours.
yeah, we'll put
Is
this
the homework
we'll put
graded?
this on pause so that we can all watch the movie together. Then we'll come back to the workout. No, just kidding. But yeah, cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. Their souls being their main, core component of them. That is where all of these like wants, desires, decisions, and everything like that comes from. But they're encased in their bodies, which is encased in where they are that they didn't choose. So I think it just kind of leads again. Your main premise is it's the things that you don't choose that define you.
The things you're kind of stuck with from birth, as it were.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Then we will go ahead and get into the directed reads, starting with drumroll, please, Caitlin.
Alrighty. Oh, no. Hey. Sorry, everything got minimized. I did too many little fancy mouse waves and it went away. Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
What? What is so funny?
Nothing. I'm just giggling. I'm not going to
What
comment
is
on
so
anything.
funny?
That
What
was
is
not
so
a
funny?
that was
Break
not
a
a part
rule.
of the
Break a
script
rule.
read. No,
Do I look funny to you?
Right, right. Now that we're in
Oh.
the directed reads, let me go over the three rules that we have for this section. So the
Okay.
first rule is the Dan rule. The second rule is the Nephilim rule. And the third rule is the Alex rule. All of these were named after people who either previously or currently attended the workouts. The Dan rule states that when you are up to perform, you cannot critique your own performance, period. You are not allowed to do that. You give that job to your directors. I can go over many reasons for that, but that's the rule. The Nephilim rule states that when you are up to perform, do not apologize for your reads, not before, during, or after. You shouldn't be sorry for any perceived lack of experience. Wherever you are in your journey is where you are in your journey. There's nothing to apologize for that. Mistakes are not anything to apologize for because you can easily just do a retake. There's a whole career path for editors in the media world, so don't worry about your mistakes. So don't apologize for anything. Well, any of your acting choices, I should say. And then the Alex rule states that when giving feedback, the word energy should never be used as feedback. It is non specific and it doesn't give an actor anything to work with. too vague, too broad, and it needs clarity. So please refrain from using the word energy. There's always something that you mean more than that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get some feedback going. Caitlin, who are you? Who are you talking to?
Okay, wait. Whoa, hold on. Okay. I clicked on the bread picture or whatever that is, the turducken, I guess, and then it like just froze right here, so I didn't know if I was still muted or not. Okay. I was
That was fast. Sorry.
I was the detective. So the detective finding these missing people, and I was talking to my partner.
Okay. Okay. So, opening it up, what did you guys think of her performance?
I think
The
the accent was close. I think that like if I were to imagine the noir, it's definitely there. The only thing that like this is just my opinion, of course, but like I just have like a southern twang to it. But your pauses with the accent that you were doing was fantastic. It was a good pause. It made me want to stop and listen to what you were going to say, and then follow through. So I did appreciate the pauses.
my big note on it is it sounded a little too thoughtful and introspective for my tastes. I'd like it to be more gritty.
Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. Put a little more gristle on the meat of it.
Mm-hmm. Meat is
Bring
always
that
better with a
forward
lot of
to a
gristle.
nice side of grits.
I would like to hear a bit more of a connection and a feeling of ownership towards your city and your people. Particularly, the people in my neighborhood are my people. That's an important line for your character, and so I would like for you to make whatever decision you want, but make that a strong line. And then also, you said if finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. And I felt like that was very. It was a little too rhythmic for
Okay.
my tastes.
Okay.
I'd like for you to pick one word maybe to strongly emphasize there, and then
Okay.
like build up to that rather than doing emphasize, de-emphasize, emphasize, de-emphasize.
It's funny you say that because it's like there's a red word, then there's an underlined word, and then there's more red words. So that's funny. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Oh, so it's your markups that's throwing you off.
Sure. It seems like it, I guess.
Well, I don't know because I on the script here, there's no red or underlined words.
No, it's funny that's exactly the section he caught because that is a portion that I marked up in that manner that would probably reflect that. So
What's funny is that was also one of mine as well. That was one of my bits of feedback too. So
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So thanks, Alex, for taking the wind out of my sails. Fantastic job. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Okay, give us another read.
Again.
Oh, oh yeah, again.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay, and how was that?
I felt that had massive improvements across the board.
I agree. I think that was very good from the much improvement from the first one.
Cool.
Yeah, it felt a lot more real to me, which is where I wanted you to go with it. So That's good. I did feel it got a touch overly dramatic there in the last couple of lines.
Okay. Gotta find that happy medium.
Something I'd like for you to try for this next one, because
Okay.
I want you to do it one more time,
Okay.
is you emphasized people in that this block has been my home since I was born. I really want to hear you up the ownership. So I want you to hit my on both of these.
Okay.
I actually think hitting my on both those halves could really help your performance.
Like the my home and my people? Is that
Yeah,
what you mean?
this
Okay.
block has been my home since I was born, and these people in the neighborhood are my people.
Okay.
So my
home,
like
my
I want you
people.
to be well. It's because what you're
I know,
doing
I know.
is then you're leading into a finding missing people is your main job. Then it's important you know where they came from. They came from where I live.
Hitting both sounds like a little much to me. I think you can make it work. Whether you hit the Ys or not, both are workable. So just make it work.
Designers, make it work. Okay. My home since I was born and people. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? All right. One more time.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. Thank you for doing the safety take. What did you all think of that one? What? I mean, I think the previous one was really well improved. I like your connection to it. I think. Well, I'm gonna save what I think and to let anybody else give you some feedback.
Let someone else
They've
take
got
the
some
wind out of your sails?
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
see.
I don't
Let's
know if
see.
I can do that, but I do want to say that I did hear the drama there at the end, like the additional gravitas there at the end that felt a bit over the top, a bit cartoonish.
Okay.
Like if you were talking, I don't know who are you talking to again?
My partner.
Your partner, right? Is that how, like, would you have that dramatic sort of like theatrical presence when talking to? Not that it was overly theatrical or anything, but
Sure.
it didn't. Yeah, I can hear what I think Leonard said on the previous take.
Yeah.
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 Well, which makes sense because it's like this city can be brutal. Like it's the wording of it is like does have gravity to it. So
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of ways that I thought I could take it, but to be fair, I have not been in the position to be a missing persons detective or anything, of this gravity. But I am trying to embody that. But okay, it's been said twice now, though. So at the end, lessen up the over the top nature. Got it.
Have you ever been around people who have been through like some really heavy stuff? So like, maybe first responders or um, veterans or the kind of people who are like police officers, people who've like really gone through like these sort of heavy, difficult situations.
Yeah, I mean, not on a daily basis, but yeah, have interacted with.
Okay. Um, One thing that I don't know if this might bring something to mind, but one thing that I notice about those people is that they're very no nonsense. Even
No,
the
that's
negativity
fair.
is no nonsense. Like
Yeah, that's fair.
even that negativity is no nonsense.
Okay, yeah,
So it's really just direct. It's really, it's just the way of things. It's the
yeah.
reality of things.
Informational.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
informational, maybe a slight twinge of negativity.
Sure.
Um, I like what you've done so far, all the way up until this block has been my home since I was born. So I think you could just take it from there,
Okay.
because we don't need to belabor the first half of it all that much.
Okay.
But take it from there, and again, you are like you're grizzled. This is something you have seen again and again and again. The horror no longer affects you. This is just another day at the office.
Okay.
You still know that it's bad, and you know that somebody looking at you from the outside is going to think, "Holy hell, what do you go through?"
You're haunted. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
to you, it's like this in this line of work. That's just what it is. You either live with it or you die.
Okay. My name is. Okay. Got it. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
That's more like it. That's more what I
Nice.
wanted to hear.
Forget
Yeah.
about it.
I'm happy with it. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add?
I think the note, like the emphasis on like it's important to know. It feels a little forced, but like I don't even. It's nitpicking at best. And it landed perfectly. Like everything I imagined. So yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Okay, I was waiting for Leonard. He was unmuted and usually has something to say. So since
No, I basically just agree with the last comment.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
All right.
since there are no more notes, we can go ahead and move it right along over to Cassidy. Let me just go ahead and paste this in here. All right, Cassidy, whenever you're ready, let's hear it.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, Andrew.
Worse.
First thing I noticed is slow it down a little bit. You have as much time as you need to for the scene, so take more control of that time. Slow your roll. You don't need to blast right through it. Opening it up. What else did you guys think?
It felt disconnected.
She's not really in the mood. Um, I don't think she. I don't think you were connected or like in the mood. Like I don't know who said connected, but like you're not in the right mind still, or connected to the character of this script. So I think you need to just take a moment before you start and just understand the emotions and the feelings and the story and the profile and everything that we spoke or talked about. Get connected to it, understand it, and it was pretty table reading.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It didn't feel like it was real and meaningful to your character. And my direction for the next go round would be to read it like all the stuff you've seen has turned you into an alcoholic. You're traumatized by it. You're sober at the moment, but read it like you've really been affected by this crap.
Yeah, something that I noticed, like near the end of some of your sentences, it was almost whimsical where you kind of went down. I'm not very good at or mimicking whatever. It was just like, if you could make it, I don't know how to explain it, but like into the
There was
next
a
word.
disconnectedness versus a tired
Yeah.
passion. If I were to try and put to words what you were trying to say.
Thank you.
Hey, Cassidy, I want you to try something for me. I'm going to send you a picture. So this is just in a DM. It's a link to a JPEG. Probably just pop right up. I want you to take a look at that picture and think about that general feel. Just so I guess so everybody sees what I sent. I'm going to go ahead and copy the image. And I'm going to put that down over here. Paste? No? Nothing? Well, way to go, me. Copy link. Is that going to work? I think that'll work. Yes, there we go. Okay. So, I just want you to take a look at that image just for a second and then go back into the read.
And you've
Whenever
just
you're
downed
ready.
your 15th cup of coffee.
I guess because you got to stay up all night, find the missing people. If you're feeling up to it again, go for it whenever you're ready. We can take a break if you'd like to. Would you like to move it along?
But if I wait too long, I won't have a chance to go.
Do you want to go into a private call?
I don't know what's wrong.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
It happens.
this shit's
Yeah.
hard.
Why don't you go ahead and go into a private call? Alex, mind if I assign you to that?
Gladly.
Okay. Cassidy, go ahead and jump into a private call with Alex in the VO workroom. So the other room that's just below this. Take your time. You're doing all right. In fact, I'll go ahead and yeah. All right. Moving right along.
Yeah, we've all been there. Always
Hey, it happens. It happens.
Trust me, her second take is going to be the best. Honestly, her second take when she comes back is going to be the best out of the lot of us. So just give her some time.
Okay.
Because she opened up, her emotions are opened up, so she's going to accept everything. So when she comes back, she's going to kick it.
Well, we'll let her and Alex work together and work that out. But for now, we're going to go ahead and move it along over to Leonard.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born. And the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. Opening it up. What did you guys think of that one?
So to whom and to what and to why are you speaking to?
Actually, I thought of a couple different things and I didn't settle down on one of them.
Okay. That makes some sense. You rushed right through it, and while you had, you had some emotional decisions here or there. Um, there wasn't anything set or defined.
Okay.
So it felt like a rushed read.
Okay. Shall I just go back from the top?
Absolutely.
Okay, then. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born. And the people in this neighborhood are my people. Finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay, so did you settle on a character and a scene this time?
Oh, yeah?
Okay, what was it? Who was your character? Who were you
Well,
talking
the character's obviously the detective.
to? Okay.
And I was talking to a prospective client, some woman who just knocked on my door and came in the office and is in some kind of trouble.
Okay. It was way too quick. I don't know what you were going for specifically. Um, in that kind of situation, I would imagine that your character would probably want to be um, more confident and in control to show them that you have their problem handled.
Okay.
But again, because you're moving really quick, it feels like it's almost like something that you have on a postcard or like on a cue card that you pull up and you read off every time somebody comes through. So
Okay.
what I want you to do is if that is your scene, which is I think is a fine scene, um, make sure that your main goal is to put the person that you are talking to completely at ease. You are in control of this situation and you know what to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh.
feel like
Oh.
the city can be brutal portion. Like I feel like that once again that just kind of needs to be uh, even though you're talking to a client and you're trying to like reassure them and everything, that still needs to be like a grisly fact, right? Like this,
Yep.
this city can be brutal, right? Like it's not like happy or like hopeful. It's like it can be brutal, and
Can be
then
brutal.
yeah, brutal.
Like, this
And
is important for you to know.
but
Yeah.
then the I hunt for those who landed. Yeah, I feel like that line, like whereas I went a little bit more dark and gritty, yeah, that could be more of like I do this, like this is I'm
Yeah.
gonna help you out, like confidence, I guess.
I think that the read that you're interested in doing and the read you've decided to do are a beat off. So I
I'm
noticed
already
that starting
completely
out,
revising.
yeah, because I noticed starting out, you're still in that like, all right, this is the cool guy zone where we talk about the cool guy things. And then as you get later, then you start to connect to someone as if it's a client or someone who's come to you for help. So
Mhm.
I'd like to take it, just loop that back to the beginning and I'll be chilling,
Okay.
probably.
I'll throw away that one and do something else.
All right, whenever you're ready, from the top.
It's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hope for those who landed in the cracks, them fell completely through.
Opening it up. What did you guys think of that one?
Leonard, who is your clientele as a detective? What kind of cases do you usually take on?
A lot of them, well, missing people cases, and a lot of them
Mhm.
are looking for like drug dealers, prostitutes, whatever, people very much on the seamy side, and about half of them, when I find them, are probably dead.
Okay. And okay, from that perspective, I think that comes through very well. I think that comes through very clearly. But for the sake of my sick, twisted curiosity,
Okay.
can we try one where, even if you know this to be actually, that's going to be your secret objective. Subconsciously, or not even subconsciously, just you know that, look, the person you're trying to find is probably dead. You don't want this person to know that
Hmm.
because this person came into your office, they're bawling their eyes out, they're terrified, they just want some closure. You want to help them you just want to help them calm down a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I was trying to portray the confidence that was asked of me towards the ending, and I'm curious, like, how would you revise that? Like, where did it fail to land the way you wanted it?
I feel like it's specifically talking like the last two lines. And again, I don't want to do a line read, but um again, we talked about the confidence, and then the city can be brutal. It's a matter of fact thing. Like, I think that needs to have like more of a like, hey, don't mistake it. Like, this is brutal. Like, that's almost kind of like lending into the secret objective of like, that's kind of a hint, like, this might not turn out pretty, right? I feel like that line needs to have a little bit more weight to it in that way. Just face facts. This is gonna be brutal. And but then you turn it, right, like for closing, like a sandwich, like positive, not so good, positive. Then I hump for then the confidence leads into like, but don't worry, like, I do this, right? Like, so again, this city can be brutal. I feel like it needs to have more weight to it, a little bit more of a reality check. And then that very last line is, but I'm gonna try to twist those odds for you, kind of thing.
Okay.
For me, it got through. I mean, like I said, this one's just for my curiosity. I just want to hear it.
Okay. From the top.
From the top.
Mhm. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities, wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. Now, this block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. City can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
All right, Ellis.
I think you're cooking, senor. Uh,
Thanks.
I there's one tiny little baby itty bitty teensy weensy
Give
thing,
it to me.
but I want to see first if anyone else is thinking it or if I'm bugging.
The only thing that caught me off guard, so like your opening sentence, like you're like your family, your neighbor, like it built this kind of like, oh man, he's gonna tell me something super important. And then you said, most of us, like you started high on the most to come back to down to the of us. And that sounded almost like a sincere matter of fact. But then you followed it up perfectly with cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. Like your breakdown following that one sentence really brought the character back into play. And I think the only thing that threw you off was the my people phrase. Other than that, like all the rest of the pieces that you have came together quite well.
Thanks, I guess.
One thing that I think is kind of felt a bit rehearsed. It lacked a stream of consciousness to me, where didn't feel like it was coming off the dome for the character.
I will say that that very last line, that I hunt for those people who landed, I definitely felt the confidence get cranked up there. Like, but don't worry,
I
here I go.
gotcha.
hmm
Okay. So then, does Leonard need to read it one more time?
I still need to find out what Ellis's little thing was.
Oh no, don't even worry about it. I was bugging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We got our answer. Then we'll go ahead and move it right
Because,
along.
my thing, it was related to that last sentence, but I'm a little too attached to it right now. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Well, it happens. So we're going to move right along to CCS.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay, opening it up. What did y'all think of that?
That was a solid first read. My only thing would be, okay, you know what? Beep beep, back up. Beep beep beep. Who are you and who are you talking to?
So,
Steps
nice.
at a time. Steps at a time.
Yep. So I am a detective. I feel more of a southern side to it, but um, I'm talking to my partner and I'm letting him know. I feel like we just came out of a really hard situation, something that was really dramatic, something really upsetting. And I'm there, although to calm him down, but also make a presence to realize how serious it is.
Okay. I I think, sorry. I My only thing maybe that I might want to hear a little bit differently is, and I feel like this is the sore thumb, is that this block has been my home since I was born. What you didn't not make sense, but I feel like hmm, like if that's not going to be like a warming up moment where it's like, oh, this block has been my home, and like it's a positive thing, positive shift. Um, really lean into like what is it, like a protective urgency, I guess, you know what I mean, if y'all just came off of something really bad, like that might be something I want to hear, is tone that up, like, your protective nature over this neighborhood and your people and everything to go along with everything else.
Okay.
For me, it sounded ponderous, and it sounded like you were hitting every other syllable, and it got to be a little bit much.
Okay.
Make it more melodic, harmonic, Helen.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, then whenever you're ready, from the top.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Very solid.
I don't know why I didn't say this in the first one, but the first take sounded like someone trying a little too hard to be scary and serious, or like, yeah. But this one dialed that back, and I didn't even say that in the first time. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
For me, huge improvement. You definitely got rid of the punchiness in the delivery. So good job. Only one tiny little nitpick that I had on the, let's see. You hit the R and people in the neighborhood are my people. And that feels like kind of the wrong word to hit.
I agree.
Minor issue, but tell me, was the experience that you had with that last script something that you drew from for this one? Remember the one that we worked on separate from a lot of this stuff?
You know, I don't want to say yes, but I don't want to say no at the same time.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
I,
If
I
not, then
feel it, but at the same time, I don't. It's
okay,
something a little bit more ominous.
okay, okay. Well, the thing is it's sounding more and more like you have a clearer idea of how you want to approach things. Um, and you've been doing this for how long again? Remind me.
This will be my second week.
Your second week. Okay. Um, for this amount of time with, and you didn't have any prior acting schooling, right?
No, I was just a singer.
Okay. So with this amount of time with with no acting schooling, that was a really solid read. And I think if you'd really tap into that, like trying to get into the shoes of the person that you're speaking through, that's just going to cause your reads to continue to improve.
Okay.
So I think that was absolutely fantastic. Why don't you go ahead and give us one more safety take, just one last read through from top to bottom, um, and I think we'll be good to go ahead and move it along.
Can I say
Okay.
something before we move along?
Absolutely not, Caitlin. How dare you?
Oh no.
And disagree,
Be
if
gone.
you will, but I guess in in some scripts, like depending on like the medium it is and everything like that, don't don't feel afraid. Which maybe you're not. You know, I haven't heard you besides now. But don't be afraid, like size or put a little more extra something there to kind of heighten the character itself and really connect to it, like I said, big size, like laughs or giggles or humps or whatever, where it's appropriate. Obviously you don't want to riddle it and force something that's not going to work, but sometimes that kind of helps, connect with it a little bit more too, at least for me anyway, taking those liberties.
Okay.
Do it sparingly, though.
True.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. Well, this block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then fell completely through.
The inflections there at the end were a bit off. The city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks. It don't feel like those are the highlights of the sentence.
Okay.
Like then at first, the city can be brutal or something. Like brutal is the emphasis there. Potentially,
Okay.
there's other ways to interpret it, but
Okay.
On the "are my people," you still hit the "are," and I'd like you to just completely throw away that word.
Okay.
yeah, I'd suggest doing what Michael said earlier and dial up the ownership. You know? Like the my is important. These are my people. You can't tell me that they're not.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be hitting just the "my," and you can hit like "my people" both. And there's several ways to do it.
Right,
Just
right,
make it work.
Yep. All right. One more time from the top.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is
I'm
your
going to
main
stop
job,
you right there. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in this neighborhood are my people.
okay,
Yeah, throw away the "are."
okay,
No, don't need. No, it's just my people. Just read that line.
okay. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighbor. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people.
There you go. That was the one fix that we needed. That was it.
Okay, okay,
Everything else has been great so far. It's just that was the one fix, and you did it.
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's go ahead and move it along then, shall we? Up next
Oh
is
boy.
Rum. Take it away, Rum.
But okay. Give me a second. Just I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. For this city can be very brutal, and I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
All right. I'm going to open it up. What did you guys think?
Would you like me to explain the whom, who, why?
Well, yeah, always.
Or never, as the case may be.
Yes.
Yes. Let's hear what your
I'm
choices
so
are and who
confused.
you are
What?
who you're talking to.
Yes, character. Who, what, when.
Amazing.
Maybe not when.
So, me, a man on a mission to help those who are lost. You could say a vigilante, your next door hero without a cape. The Who is a colleague, a partner, a doer, who could be a private detective or a finding missing people enthusiast, an outsider in this case, in two quotes. The why is to open up as to the purpose of my job, to save my city, my neighborhood, my people, my family, down the chain. Hence, identity and belonging. And the whom are those whom they lost their identity, lost their definition of thyself, lost all meaning to life. They start falling through those cracks, losing their identity. That's where the who would save them or myself. But if they fell down all the way, then it's too late.
Okay. So
I took
I can definitely hear
this.
you connecting with the emotions that you're laying out. I want you to do it again, like, but just talk like more in the cadence that you're talking right now. You drop it down even lower somehow than you were already talking at, and it adds this like insincerity to it because you know go down all the way even lower, and it's you know, so just talk how you're talking right now, more or less.
Okay, I got it. So just keep my normal pitch.
More or less, yes.
Or feedback? No? Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. Look, this block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. For this city can be very brutal, and I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Yeah, you see, that added a much stronger air of like this being a personal story to your take. And I think that was your strongest performance so far.
Thank you.
It still got a little too like whispery and broken for my tastes there at the end. It's still like flipped more like as it got further on. And there's nothing wrong with going down to like a little bit to get a little more intimate to, you know, make something pop out a little more, but it kind of stayed there.
So the feeling that I'm going through here is opening up and basically kind of like connecting with the who, hence my partner or whoever that person is that I mentioned. So I'm being very sentimental, opening up. So in my case, opening up goes down to soft spoken. You know what I mean? Like just try to be very smooth
Yeah.
with the way I speak. I don't want to go too high of a pitch so that it disrupts,
It's less about pitch,
those
more about
emotions that I'm
power.
playing with that are very sensitive. Yeah.
I'm not talking
You
about.
said something and power.
It's less about pitch. I'm talking more about like, projection. And yeah, you can get more intimate, and some people do get softer when they say stuff like that. But it's still like, and I mean this pleasantly, but you got a great voice. You're fucking the mic. you gotta ask for consent before you go.
Nice.
That was some direction.
Sorry.
Well, the thing is like I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused here because I don't know exactly what it is you're hearing. Does anybody else hear something similar to what
Maybe
Rome
I'm
has been
bugging,
describing?
as Ellis says.
Like, is anybody else hearing this?
You're not affiliated.
The thing I'm hearing is like there's no urgency whatsoever. This person has come in looking for a missing person, and I'm just gonna sit here and have a nice little monologue. And I'm not saying to go crazy fast or anything, but it feels like there's no urgency whatsoever, and maybe there should be just a little bit.
I think within your first and second sentence, I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. You say that with depth. And then your family, the second sentence is a transition. But then when it's like every time anybody hits this third to the fifth sentence, it's almost like it's a matter of fact, kind of like almost conversational. And I think everybody here has hit that point too.
That's weird because I'm totally cool with what I've been hearing so far personally, because I was kind of, if Rom's character is talking to his, like his coworker, his partner about what he's doing, then and especially if this is sort of like just kind of yeah, kind of like an emotionally intimate moment, then I feel that that performance is really hit. So I'm wondering where like the urgency or the back off the microphone is coming from. I'm hearing something different. I'm just trying to see if anybody else has heard the same kinds of things.
If they want like another option, like as in different pace, different turn, then I can definitely do it. There's no I can try.
Well, okay, go ahead and give us another read, but then we will have to move it along right after that.
Okay, I'll do it very quickly.
Well, I mean, what I mean is you don't have to rush. Just
I-
go ahead and give us another read. But I think after some feedback, we'll move on to the next reader.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. For this city can be very brutal, and I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, but then fell completely through.
Okay. I like the fact that you took some liberty with improving some extra things in there and changing up the lines just a little bit. Always a good idea to make these scripts more of your own. I think very actually cuts the severity of what you're trying to say. Which is kind of counterintuitive, I know, but I think like if I'm going to critique anything major here, I would just say the city can be brutal because I think that has a certain weight and gravitas to it. That
I see.
should
Yeah, I
be
hear it. I hear it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that I feel that weight and gravitas should be honored in this particular script. But for the most part, this was a much lighter, less somber take of what you gave us previously.
Personally, I liked it a lot more. I felt
I
the
agree on
emotion.
the.
Yeah, this read was what I was looking for, and you delivered it, so good job.
Very
Great.
strong. It hit me pretty good too. I like that read a lot.
I am reminded of this quote from the Dead Poets Society movie about not using the word very. I might look up that line and post it.
I would definitely be interested to see that because yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think counterintuitively, very
Me
actually
too.
cuts the impact of what it is you're saying. But anyway,
Mm.
let's
No,
go
I
ahead and move
heard
right
that.
along.
When you said it, actually, it sound gave it that gravitas I was speaking of.
Hmm. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move it along to Tanya.
It's me.
Yeah, to you. Whenever you're ready, let's hear it.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. The city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and fell completely through.
Tanya, I loved the fact that you really took your time through the first part of the script. I loved that. That was something that I was hoping people would do and take on a little bit more. Not that, I'm not saying what they did was bad, necessarily. It's just I was really looking for somebody to like take their time through that first half, which you did beautifully. And I think it added to the sense of like um almost awe and wonder at this crazy experience that we call life. Um, I'm just giving you my first initial impressions on this, but let me know, who are you? Who are you talking to? What's your situation?
What I was thinking of is I'm a detective and I'm talking with my partner that like I've taken under my wing and they're kind of not getting it. They don't really fully understand the gravity of like what this job really entails and I'm basically telling them like, "Hey, you don't get to like this is not how this works, buddy. This is like especially since this neighborhood that this crime occurred in is very personal to me because I literally grew up here. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. Listen, if this is your main job, or this is what you want as your main job, you need to understand this. You need to understand this. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, so then one thing I'm going to ask you to do to hit that even more is at the very end here. Um, then it's important to know where they came from. Like, be really intentional on that. I initially wanted to say slow. Slow may not be it. I want you to be like, again, you need to listen to me. So make that a driving point, and then fell completely through. I need to hear the tragedy of that because you're literally like it sounds like your character works on cold cases. Like everybody else has completely forgotten about them. They feel that these leads are completely dead. They're never going to see them again. And that's your way of saying they landed in the cracks and then they just kept falling.
Yep.
So, so maintain that sort of paced seriousness that you had at the beginning. And I think if you do that, then it's really gonna help build that scene of, hey, this is super important.
Yep. Okay.
Anybody else? Any other thoughts? All right. One more time.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Yeah, that hit exactly what it was I was looking for. That hit exactly what it was I was looking for. Opening it up. Does anybody have any thoughts or any feedback?
I loved it. I'm just saying that was good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's that honestly, Tanya, that initial decision of just taking your time through the get go. Oh, chef's kiss, so good. Great instincts on that one. Especially
Thank you.
since you were going, especially if you were going for something that was supposed to be like, I'm driving this home to you. You listen to me. You really played that scene well.
Yeah, that was
in my
going to
mind.
be my feedback in the first one is there needed to be something more to then it's important to know where they came from. But bam, wham, bam,
Yeah.
thank you, ma'am. Mm.
Yep, you hit it. Any other thoughts, impressions? Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I
I'm
can do an
terrible at
impression.
impressions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, fuck you! God damn it! Shit.
All right. Well, hey, yeah, Tanya, you absolutely nailed that. I'm very happy with where that is, and I think we're good to move along.
Thank you.
All right. Up next is David.
Hello.
All right, David, whenever you're ready, let's hear
Sure.
you read.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay, David, what were you going for? Who are you? Who are you talking to?
I was going for after hours, going with the traditional detective thing. Rookie partner. So like we're having a drink, winding down. They probably just seen some shit, and I'm like, look, no, we're doing this for the people. We're doing this for the people who fell through the cracks. We're doing this for like a good thing I'm thinking this is not the right image, but it's the image that's coming to mind is if anybody's seen Civil War, what's her face and what's her face? Kirsten Dunst and the other one, whose name I don't remember. Because they're both like photojournalists, like Kirsten, like towards the beginning of the movie, like, but not as like hard.
Okay. Well, before I give my
I
impressions,
think
let me open it up.
I think just the first half of the sentences, up until their souls, it sounded to me like he was underacting for a minute. It sounded like he's doing a commercial, honestly.
That commercial is what I was.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. It sounded like that to me.
You were too happy.
Yeah, just for the
Okay.
first half.
Too happy, yeah. And then
then
it
you
sounds like
kinda,
you
like,
heard
got
yourself,
back
and then
in.
yeah.
Yeah, the word I wrote down was peppy.
Yeah, very.
Consider if you hate this city, but you're uncomfortable
just-
going anywhere else.
Okay. We're getting
Okay.
real specific here.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay.
damn.
Okay. But yeah, so the things that kind of keyed that off, David, just so you know,
Mhm.
what caused that, at least to my ear, was going really high up in your register
Mhm.
tends to do that. I
Yeah.
think it's what you don't
I,
choose that defines you.
I also will say that like the moment I had right before me is like changed like about a minute before I got on the mic because like before it was muted and I was just kind of this like I don't think it's what you choose that defines you. And then
Okay.
suddenly in my head, like it's this conversation. It's like, well, I think it's what we choose. It's like, I don't think it's what we choose that defines it. And I'm like all of a sudden going off like drunk and being drunk David and not who this character is.
Did you have a couple drinks?
No, I did not, but I did get like a little. I poured water into a tumbler to kind of.
Okay.
I
So
was
then,
doing
so,
that. Oh
so the
man.
thing is I think you can make that approach work for you,
Yeah.
but you may need to change slightly your emotional state
Yeah.
and your goal for this scene. So maybe we can work with this. What I'd
Mhm.
like for you to try is I'd like for your character to be really hopeful. Like
Okay.
you've had some serious solid success doing this. You have closed cold cases people completely gave up on,
Okay.
but you ended up solving them. And you know that there's always a way. You just have to keep going.
Okay. Okay.
So I would love to hear you take this on as though you're really, really hopeful
Yeah.
about what you're doing. I
Give
think
me a
it could
second.
work for you. Let's see.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, I'd love to hear you try that.
I'm gonna stand up. Give me a second. All right. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. So what are you seeing as a scene in your head? So I mean, I told you kind of
Mhm.
an emotional direction I wanted you to go in. What do you see is happening with you and your character?
Um,
Or
it kind of
start
started out as the same thing, and it got a little bit more manic. Like, no, 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 no. Look, I found these people, and there were those girls, and they were down by the river, and we got them back before even the thing happened. And you don't know. You don't know. You don't like. It kind of went
Okay.
there.
Yeah, because it did. It started becoming combative more
Yeah.
than it became positive. So let's alter the scene slightly a little bit here. Who are you talking to?
Different person?
You're just a different person. Like
No,
what
I'm
is
just saying. Were you asking for a different person or same scene?
No, I'm just asking on this scene, like who you're talking to.
Oh, this was the same thing. It was sort of the same idea at a bar. Uh, rookie person who just joined is kind of like, why do you even do this? Like, why are these people? Half these people don't even matter.
Okay. So what I want you to do then is you're not fighting your partner on this.
Okay,
You're letting your partner know there's a better way to view it.
sure.
So it doesn't need to be this tense and manic exchange right off the bat. It could just be, well, I mean, you may feel that way, but I don't. Not at
Sure.
all. I think these people are they just didn't get the opportunities that they deserved.
Got it.
You know, like you're being the optimist to their pessimist. So it's not about directly trying to confront them and change their view on it. It's that you're like, I got a different take on it. I actually think that it's more hopeful than that.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
What I've been hearing here is like a rich, sheltered kid talking about what it's like living in the hood. and that's not really working for me.
I feel
Okay.
that, bro.
So yeah,
Wow.
let's. Yeah, that was direction. We've certainly gotten a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and see what that's like. Like you want to show your partner um, that it's not all doom and gloom. That there is still
Okay.
hope here.
Sure.
Whenever you're ready.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, it's important to know where they come from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. So I love the emotional direction that you're heading.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's something that you're doing. You're attacking the beginning of your sentences really strong right off the bat.
Okay.
And the thing is that's literally the only that's just such a slight speed bump, but that's the only thing that's holding up this nice smooth delivery that I can hear is right underneath the surface. So
Okay.
if you back off on your attack at the beginning of every sentence, if you just let it flow smoothly, like, yeah, sure, but I mean, I've got a different idea of things. Again, like
Okay.
you're genuinely not trying to be talking over them or be confrontational or anything. You just want them to like see that it actually doesn't have to be this way.
All right.
I think you will be right spot on to what we're going for here.
If you don't mind, I also kind of want to tie in with Michael here. So my background with music and singing and all that stuff, I noticed like cadences and melody and stuff like that. And something I noticed when you're speaking is you start strong and then slightly decrescendo into a weaker, like almost an ending, if that makes sense. Like it goes from if that makes sense. So if you were to listen to a song, you have an intro, you have the sub verse that goes into the chorus, which is kind of like the big moment, and then you have the climax following that chorus, and then all the way back down to the ending. What you're doing is almost perfect in the way that you're creating a melody, but it's repetitive. And I think that if you add little inflections that you want to create on your own, I think this is going to turn out beautiful, just very similar to what Michael said.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. What I was hearing is what I call machine gunning it. So here I'm delivering this line, and now I'm delivering this line, and now I'm delivering this line. So just firing off bursts and then pausing and then burst and then pause and then burst, and just get that under control, and I think you'll be in good shape.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I have that's one of the first things that anybody doing narration or long chunks of text, that's one of the first obstacles is like finding your speech pattern and then learning to identify it. And it helped me to be able to identify it because CCS talked about music and putting it in the context of music. We talk in musical notes more or less. So if you like take a piece of your audio and then kind of chart out where the notes hit, you can visualize like the ups and downs of your speaking. It helped me kind of identify my speaking pattern.
That'd be really interesting, like musically annotating your actual speech patterns.
Yeah, I put a little screenshot of what I did.
Oh,
I have
okay.
blank sheet music if you need it.
You can also auto tune it, sure. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so don't attack the beginnings of your sentences so hard. Smooth it out. One last take. I really think you'll get it. I think you're right there.
Awesome. Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. Much better on your attacks this time.
Okay.
Much better. Much smoother.
Thank you. Okay.
The only retake I'm going to have you do is the very last sentence.
Uh-huh.
I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. So the main point is landed in the cracks, and then the modifier to that is then fell completely through.
Okay. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. It was a minor change, but it worked. I liked it.
Awesome. Okay.
I would say that just slap that onto the end of what you did before, and you'll have a really solid read.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
What's interesting is that so you picked up your pace a little bit from the last one. I was initially going to ask you to slow down, but I actually think your slightly faster pace worked with your scene.
Okay.
Because again, if you're talking to somebody who's negative, and you're like, actually, I see it completely different. It sounds more like you're sort of establishing yourself a little bit more between you and who you're talking to. You're like, well, maybe you could see things in a slightly different way.
Okay.
And again, I think for you and for your performance, that absolutely worked.
Okay. Yeah, it also felt it felt a little bit more natural to speed it up a little bit, especially to mitigate some of the other points that we're be making. I think slowing it down sometimes for me starts turning into bad Shakespeare.
And that's totally okay to recognize in yourself. And I'm really glad that you're, because again, more importantly than anything else, sure, some of the tiny little technical things that we mentioned before, you probably can throw out if it doesn't work for you. Again, all of this feedback in your performance is based entirely on what is going to absolutely function for you as an individual. Like David, the roles that you can land and the deliveries that you can give are going to be different from most other people who are going to do this. So it's okay for you to ignore some of the technicalities so long as it works more in your brain and allows you to feel more natural and like you own the script.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah, I think you did a fantastic job. I wouldn't have you retake it.
I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
I did. Yeah.
All right. Moving right along, it's Andrew? Is it? It is. It's Andrew?
Yes, indeed it is.
Where's Andrew exclamation point? He dead?
Yeah, I killed him.
I don't think we
Sorry.
have an Andrew exclamation point. We only have an Andrew question mark. And then when is it going to be Julius though? Yeah. When are you going back to Julius?
We'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, whenever you're
It
ready,
changes
let's hear
around
it.
at random. You know what I think? I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment for that matter. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block's been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. That's why I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then fell completely through.
All right. I see you there with a walking stick and with the full archery set on. Tell me about
I
this character. Who are you?
I was told I could have props.
You
That's why.
absolutely. Yes, yes, you can. In fact, I applaud you for having them.
And as soon as you said I could have props, my character immediately changed to a ranger. Um, so this character is much more on the optimistic side, very much. Um, I took the last line to mean instead of physically lost or missing, it's the people who have lost their way. And so I tracked down the people who have lost their way, or my character, and
No, that's good.
I,
Claim it.
um, and try to get them back on the straight and narrow, get them back into functioning society.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, of course, everybody's gonna have their opinion on it, but to me, that is genuinely what I heard right off the bat is wizened, um, like counselor, some sort of, um, some sort of guide.
Mhm.
And I think if that was your goal and if that's what you were going for, you hit it beautifully.
Yay.
You hit it really, really well. I loved the pacing. I loved your character. I loved your approach to it. But I'm going to go ahead and open it up. What did you all think of that read?
I agree. I enjoyed it a lot. The only if I like just being picky, right?
Be as picky as you want.
So I'm gonna quote a line from it. It says, "If finding missing people is your main job, when you say job, it sounds almost like a question, but then you end it with a sentence. If that makes sense. It happened twice, but other than that, that is like very, 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 very nitpicky because I enjoyed it. That was very good.
All right. Could you explain a little bit more about what you mean it was a question and then you continued on?
Yeah. So here it says, if finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you want me to make that as more of a statement?
Yeah. So, like, I like the flow. Don't get me wrong. Just I don't know how well to explain it. I'm so sorry. I'm I'm learning with you too.
You're all right. You're all right there.
You just
We'll
want
go
to
ahead
hear
and do
something
that.
different. It's that simple,
Yeah,
my friend.
yeah, and that's cool. So then, Andrew,
Mhm.
give us one more take, except on that line, make it more of a statement.
All right.
Let's see if that does it.
All right. Hmm. All right. I think I know how to do that. All right, let's do it.
Whenever you're ready.
Hmm. You know what I think? I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who have landed in the cracks and then fell completely through.
And it's funny because you fixed that one section and you broke another.
All right, which one did I break?
And the people in this neighborhood are my people.
Mm.
There
Yeah.
wasn't as much ownership there. Now,
Mhm.
again, very nitpicky because you actually gave us the change that we were looking for.
Mhm.
So, all in all, I will consider all of that just a pretext, just a lead in for that particular line because you definitely did exactly what we asked for on that
Mhm.
line. It's just the previous one didn't work out well. Then again, your previous read had a better take of that line in general. So it's like, six of one, half a dozen, one half a dozen of another.
Mhm.
Monday sucks. Anyway,
It's when we make a Franken take.
I mean, I have words on that. Don't do that. But I mean, whatever.
I definitely like the transition for sure. It added, in my opinion, it added way more color to
Mhm.
the way that you speak because you add so much color to it. Like your
Mhm.
palette is very strong, and then like literally you gave me purple, and then you gave me a dark purple, which is exactly what I was requesting. I thought it was good.
I love that explanation so much.
All
Well,
right.
thank you.
Well, then, I guess we are moving along, aren't we?
Oh dear.
I know, and if you haven't heard me speak enough, it is my turn. Just kidding.
Okay, can we get a beat take of that evil laugh? Yeah, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. You know, your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. You know, this block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through. All right, opening it up.
Who you talking to?
Again, my partner.
Okay.
Okay,
Has
I
the
did have
city
a
been
quick
brutal to you?
question.
Got two at once, one at a time here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, CCS. Yeah, CCS. Go for it.
When you were doing the lines, were you trying to do an accent or were you not including an accent?
I was not including an accent.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
You may have
Alex?
been slipping a little bit into one on accident, maybe.
And then maybe next time I'll just go for one. We'll see if it works out differently.
It wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad at all. It just caught my attention because I heard it like when you first start a sentence and then like you continue the sentence as normal. And I was like, I can't. It was good. That was really good. It just, yeah, it just caught my attention. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
How has this city treated your character?
Ups and downs. I mean, I got a love-hate relationship with it. I wouldn't live anywhere else, but it's got its seedy underbelly. Stuff I'm not proud of.
So
Just
the
doing
way
my
that
best
you
to fix it.
said this city can be brutal, it was like if I said addiction can be brutal. I have no personal history with addiction. I've seen what
Okay.
it can do
Okay.
at a distance, but there's a disconnect there. If you have been brutalized by this city, you're going to have a really big connection, and that line is going to mean something to you. Either way, you see what it does to people who are right in front of you, and I think that you gave a more distant take than that
Okay.
should provide.
Okay. Okay.
Also, for the stretch leading in, did you mean for that stretch to sort of strain the first couple words of
Yes.
the I think? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's my opinion that that works really well if you're on camera,
Okay.
but if
Yeah.
you're
All right. No
off
problem.
if you're off camera, then that
Well, I
may
mean,
be a
I
little
am on
weird.
camera.
If we turn
But
on our
yeah.
cameras, we can do
Okay.
anything we want.
Exactly. That's right. I'll just use the
and you
excuse I'm always on camera. Yeah.
yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
definitely did some things that really made it your own and added character to it, and I loved that part. It did feel, and I can hear what I forget who said it, but I can hear the somewhat detached aspect to it. Like it's not really personal and gritty.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe make it a little more personal.
Yeah, no problem. All right, more personal. You know, actually, I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood. This block has been my city, my home since I was born, and the people in this neighborhood are my people. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Shit. Woo! Give me goosebumps, man. What the?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, me clapping cut my mic off, so I was trying to clap for.
Okay.
Damn, you hate to follow that up. That's
Oh,
awesome.
well, look who's going next.
I want to. I want to.
Haha.
Before you do,
Yes.
I want to see some. I want to see
Okay.
some. So for this next one,
Oh, you want me to do one more?
Yes,
your
Michael.
partner, or whoever you're talking to, he is talking trash about your work ethic. He doesn't feel like you're doing a good job and guys are taking on. How do you respond in this read?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So more on the defensive side, but take that as you will.
All right, let's do this. Take it easy, Ron. Unbelievable. You know, I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born. And the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Nice.
That one was great.
Yeah, the other one sucked. That one was fantastic. No, that's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, that was great.
Did it hit what you were going for, Roddy?
Yes. Yes, it did.
Okay.
I could
Then
hear the frustration in that.
that was an interesting change of scene. Um, very interesting change of scene. Okay, then let's go ahead and move it right along. Ogre.
Yeah.
The voice ogre.
No.
All right, whenever you're ready, let's hear it.
I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us, we take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block's been my home since I was born, and people in the neighborhood, they're my people. And if finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they come from. The city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then fell completely through.
Okay, opening it up. What did y'all think of that one?
I heard a lot of good choices, but Discord or whatever is eating the beginning of a lot of your sentences, and that makes it really hard for me to judge. But what I heard was good.
Interesting. Maybe my threshold. Let me go take a peek.
Yeah, turn off automatic noise suppression.
I do. I have that off. I've thought I fine-tuned it, but maybe not well enough.
Well, turn it offer.
Oh, dude. That's my.
Kill
Never
it
mind.
dead.
That is a talent of mine. With it, never.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Ogre, you've said enough so far that's been out of pocket. We gotta rein you in until the stream ends, okay?
Yeah, but if I imply it, then it's fine, right? Okay. All
I
right.
mean, you didn't say anything, so.
All right.
Like
So
Family Guy. Anyway, so what was your goal for this one? Who were you? Who were you talking to?
I liked. I heard nobody else do the interview scene, and I wanted to try and give that a voice where this is I don't know how the police department works, but I assume it's some kind of like not just a detective, but like a higher up, like a chief detective, because that someone of enough import that he would be invited on to speak about something. And I'm imagining that there's been some kind of like crime, some cartel, something has been has been a current event in the area that this takes place, and there's been a lot of public outcry, and people want information, they want answers, they want to understand the police department and what they're doing about it. Maybe it's a uptick in missing people. So this is he's in there in a public forum. This is his chance to explain his perspective, why he does what he does, why. Yeah. So this is a snippet of a larger interview.
So this is definitely something that has actually reflected in your read here. I hear a lot of imagines and maybes and he. So you're separating yourself from what's going on. When you're talking about your character, particularly when you're up to perform, you are that character. You also don't know the exact situation as to what was going on around you. It doesn't matter what it is. Choose one. Because for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what is happening. I had a really interesting experience once when playing Dungeons and Dragons, actually, here in the server. I was meant to play some NPCs that were clones of other characters in the campaign. And what I was told by the DM, and this was secretly DM'd to me just for fun, but what I was told was, you can say whatever you want, it's all true. I'm giving you that same leeway. You can say whatever you want, it's all true. So the situation that you build, I like the fact that you're giving yourself some detail. And again, your choices are stronger than many others would give. But I think if you have a really, really clear idea of why you're doing what you're doing, and you put it all together, and you really put yourself in your character's place, when you're talking about the character, you can freely and comfortably use I. Um, it's going to change your connection to it. The reason I'm saying this, your read technically good. There was no major
I hate
flub ups
that.
or
I
anything.
fucking hate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to keep telling you this because that's one of the major things that pops up, okay? Your reads are technically good, but it's not as connected emotionally as you could be. You had a scene brewing and building, and there are hints of that in there. And again, some of the stronger choices definitely do come up and breach the surface here. But if you're in an interview, then you need to sit down and look at the person that you're talking to and imagine the question that was just asked to you and answer that question.
Yeah. I had an idea of what the question was, but I didn't have anything locked down. So that goes within the
write it.
pocket of no.
Write it.
Yeah, exactly.
Write it down. Put down the question. Put down specifically what you're responding to.
I
Ogre,
think it's
you
what
are
you
you
don't.
are at a skill level where now you need to put things around you to play off of.
Okay, so what you choose that defines you. So let's see. What question would that be? I think
From me, let's say that this is an interview. Let's say they're talking about your line of work. Okay, so you're a detective. You're trying to find people who've gone missing, and you specialize in cold cases. So maybe the interview asks something like, "Well, do you think that it was there that they might have gone missing, or do you think their life ended up the way that it did because of the environment that they were in? You think maybe some of the choices that they made led them down the wrong path to end up where they were?"
yeah. Like, why do you think that this is happening? Like, why do you think our area is suffering? Like, what's
Yeah, why do you think this why do you think this city's so special? Why is
what
this keep
choices have we
happening?
made? Where did
Yeah,
we go wrong?
there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so play off of that question. The interviewer sat down, you've been talking for a little while, you've already had a pretty decent conversation, and then they hit you with that. I want to hear that take whenever you're ready.
Yeah. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. And most of us take pride in these things or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. I mean, this block has been my home since I was born. And the people in the neighborhood, well, they're my people. And if finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. I mean, I know this city can be brutal. And so it's my job to hunt for those who landed in the cracks and then just fell completely through.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. What did you guys think of that take?
You did something different that most people haven't done in the impressions, and it's the most of us take pride in these things. A lot of us went most of us or most of us. You went deeper and then went higher. And for some reason, I really, really, really liked that. That was really strong. It caught my attention. I had just got off a business call, by the way. I'm so sorry. But that most of us take pride, like for some reason, that gave me goosebumps. I like that a lot. That one phrase.
Nice. I'm glad I did at least one thing right. No, sorry. I'm just trying to be funny. I'm not trying to self-deprecate.
I actually liked that take, especially toward the end. Especially toward the end, you sounded almost defeated, where it's like you're trying. It's like there have been times, at least how I feel when you did this read. At times you sounded almost hopeless. It's like, yeah, I know stuff can be, like this shit can be brutal, but you're also trying to be a bit more optimistic about it. Be like, hey, like if you really want to do this, I want you to understand that You gotta understand this. And I don't know, it's something about that I liked it, and it's something, yeah, it was like the other guy said, something that we didn't really get to hear from everybody else. I certainly didn't do that from my read. So that was actually it was a pleasant surprise. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, I see what he's doing. I liked it.
yeah. I tried to play into the tired aspect of it, and like they're firm in their convictions, but they're also, in a sense, going through the motions.
Yeah, it's like they've been doing it for so long to the point where like unintentionally they might sometimes end up sounding defeated or like tired.
Yeah.
Ogre,
But I liked it.
did you feel that you connected with that scene a little bit more?
Oh yeah, I could see the lights around me. I could see the desk that they were sitting across from. Or that not they. When I say they, I meant I fucked up my
The other
sentence.
person. Yeah, the other
But
person.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because what you did this time worked so much more than the previous one. And don't get me wrong, the previous take was a good take. This one was a great one. Because regardless of the maybe of the little awkward flub ups and things like that, I mean, those you wove into your character and you made them work perfectly.
yeah. That's kind of why I also picked the context of an interview where it's like we don't always know what we're gonna say next. But when I felt the flub coming, and I'm like, no, he's just taking his moment to pick the right word and get it across right.
Yeah, and again,
I. Fuck.
I'll give you a pass this time because I think you did a fine job, and I think we're okay to move along.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, the one and only a certified funny man, Ellis Bertrell.
Okie dokie.
Now remember, I'm holding you to a higher standard for this one, Ellis. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, golly. All right. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around the souls. This block has been my home since I was born. And the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and fell completely through.
All right, Ellis. Who's your character? Who are you talking to?
I'm Patrick Kinsey. I'm just talking to myself. Walking through my city thinking about how all of my adult life I've been fighting to save this city, to save her from herself. But have I ever really understood her?
Okay. Can open it up. What did you guys think?
Have you ever seen Spider-Man Into the Metaverse?
I've not seen Spider-Man Into the Metaverse.
Or whichever the
I'd
name
love
of
to
the
watch that movie. No, I know what you're talking
no.
about though. Yeah, I've seen it.
So everything that you just said fit the exact vibe that I thought you were speaking in, and I loved it. It felt like the intro of him coming like man, my language, shit popped off. Holy fuck. And then you just came in, was like, oh my god. And then you're bringing it back. Like I felt every bit of that. and I think it was only like very few sentences where it just seemed like you pulled away from it, but the majority, like 98% of it, was like everything that I would picture in like in an animated film. I loved it. That was like my, by far, and no offense to anybody else, this was my favorite one.
Thanks, bro. I feel super valid. I was sitting there that whole time and I was like, man, I'm sad.
It sounded super subdued to me,
Mhm.
but then when you explained where you were coming from and the scene you set, it kind of makes sense.
Ellis, I'm going to rain in on your parade here. I get the scene you were going for, and you did paint that well, but I still feel you could be more emotionally expressive on your main points.
I get you.
Like, you have a strong scene, and I do not want to change that, but I really want to know specifically how your character feels about the city, about people just existing in the situations they didn't choose, about those who have literally been forgotten by society. I need to hear your personal stand on each one of those.
Okay.
So keep the same
One
same
second.
scene. It is working for you, but give me more impact on what you feel about these things.
Okay. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born. And the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. City can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks and fell completely through.
So, given the scene that you had painted for us, given what you wanted this to be, I noticed some of the changes that you added. It still was subtle, but it was enough to notice, for me at least.
Ooh.
And again, I was really looking for it. So I'm going to open it up
My.
and ask you guys what you heard. What do you think?
To me, it sounded like, especially toward the end, it sounded like he was on the verge of tears. That's what it sounded like to me, and to me, that connected with me a bit because it's like, damn, that
That's
that shit
that's
hit.
crazy.
I
It,
didn't
it
want to.
legit.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
I didn't want to compliment a second time, but I'm sorry, but I can't hear the flaws. I don't know, but I thought it was beautiful, especially the second one. You made it more sad, and like she said, I could hear the sadness in it, and it kind of sprung a chord in me a little bit. I enjoyed it. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Don't apologize, bro. We all have opinions. You have opinions, but
Don't give a compliment and apologize for it. Like,
I know.
yeah, for
I'm
real. Bro.
sorry, I
so sorry,
enjoyed
but
it.
you're
I'm
awesome.
trying.
I was
I'm
feeling super
trying.
valid, and then you were like, "Nah, psych." Actually, what the heck, bro?
I'm
No,
trying
but,
to be humble and bashful, and you're taking that away from me. So
no, just be honest.
Don't do that.
Just be honest.
Yeah, man.
Like, there's no reason to be humble
I
and
was-
bashful about it. Like, the whole
What
point of
I
giving
will
the
say
feedback.
though is I do think that I'm not sure if you're just sort of lamenting in all of this is happening and maybe there isn't hope, because it seems like the last lines, at least from what I'm reading in the script, imply that there's almost like a vindictive quality there, or you're like, I stand up for the little people who fall
Well,
through the cracks and that sort of thing, and I'm just not sure if if it
well,
feels like
for mine, I was going for, I guess vindictive sounds about right. In my head at that moment, you know how sometimes you'll think something, and then, but well, really we don't think one or two things, but it's like a deluge of thoughts that are all coming together. Um, for me, it was maybe that surface level thought was that sentence, but then that secondary layer was the saddest part is that I genuinely believed that.
oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so there is this sort of like it's all kind of tinged in this sort of bitter spare, some sort of like
Yeah, man, this place
solemnity
sucks.
sort of thing. Yeah, it's like okay, okay. I mean that gives some perspective. You know, I just wasn't sure if he was being painted a little bit too solemn or too hopeless.
I feel ya.
Well,
Big
I
meows.
think.
Who did that?
Okay.
Who did that?
Okay.
Don't laugh at them. Don't give them attention.
Unfortunately, that came from the TMC account, so that was an official channel that happened through. Whatever that
Yeah,
means for
Ice was
us, but
unhappy.
no,
Trusted
I
you.
was not happy about
Does that mean I can unleash the soundboard? Is that what that means? No? Oh, okay.
We have the soundboard very strictly controlled. Yeah.
Do it again.
anyway,
Do it again.
Don't
All
do
right.
it again.
Don't do it
Don't do it
again.
again. We're almost done. We're almost done. Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
I want to leave.
Yeah.
Heis, you have total freedom of choice to go and do whatever it is that you want to. You don't have to be here if you don't like.
Bruh.
But I think so for this particular take that you gave, Ellis, you really went the subtle route with it, didn't you? You really decided that the subtle route was kind of how you were going to define your character's emotional
Yeah,
state.
I decided this is a film scene. I don't
Mhm.
care if I'm behind the microphone. This is a film scene.
Oh, I mean, it wouldn't matter anyway. If this is a film scene, I think that would actually have worked out. Or even if this was just
Yeah.
like, just a recording. Say this was an excerpt from an audiobook, I think you would have still painted that scene really, really well. You communicated the
No,
fact
right,
this
but
is
my
an internal monologue very
mental
well.
approach it tends to change
Hmm.
based on how I look at it.
Well, again, what you did worked. So it was a subtle change, but it was just enough that it added that extra flavor that I was really looking for.
Ciao.
So we're going to move it right along over to Alex.
Michael, thank you for dedicating so much time to these workouts. I am so sleepy.
Do you
Okay.
need to call it for the evening? We can
No,
always come
no,
back
no,
to
no.
this. I'm more
I
than
have
happy
to
to
do
work
auditions
one-on-one with
after
you.
this.
Oh, okay. Alrighty
I'll-
then. Well, whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and hear the read.
Okay. You're getting hung up on the wrong things. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. City is wrapped around bodies, wrapped around souls. This block has been my home since I was born. And the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
tell me about your scene. Who are you? Who are you talking to?
I'm at a bar. I'm off duty. I have a glass of cheap whiskey in front of me that I'm sipping because I'm broke. And I am talking to a guy that just transferred in. We are legit detectives with the department, and he's from a whole different background than I am, and he approaches things from different ways, and so I'm giving him my perspective of the current case. Uh, really, in my head, the pre-life for this scene was that he was going on and on about the missing man's job and hobbies and interests, and who he might know that would be connected through those. Um, and my character was saying that he's focusing on the wrong things.
Okay. Okay. Opening it up. What did you guys think of that performance then?
Impressive level of detail in the scene.
See, the thing about that though is
Did it come through?
it did actually. It came through.
Okay.
I felt like you were in this sort of smoky atmosphere, like you were kind of just not quite talking to somebody, just sort of talking at them,
Yeah.
almost like staring down into your cup.
Yes, that's very much where I was.
Okay, yeah. You in putting yourself into that scene, you really brought that out quite well.
Okay.
Like exceptionally well for this read.
Thank you. I'm glad. Do we want to try a different scenario then, or just call it?
Well, you said you were tired and you still have other stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm
if you're willing to-
tempted to ask for what Roddy asked from Michael. Do it a little more angry.
Okay. You weren't getting it.
Hey,
He's
Oh.
still here.
What's up, Roddy?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna re-say the scene. He said you're bad at your job, you don't know what you're doing, and you suck. Yeah,
Okay.
with that.
Real professional, this guy.
So same scene, but now you're kind of pissed at who's talking to you.
All right.
Yeah.
Look, man. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
I got sort of a on the verge of tears kind of feel from that.
I was coming from like a personally offended and very much connected place. Yeah. So
The
maybe
the
there,
one
yeah.
thing is I kind of lost the scene around you. You were very much so focused on that emotion, and that did come through. But your sense of scene that you had in the previous read
Yeah.
wasn't as strong. It really wasn't as prevalent.
Okay, yeah, I did change the setting for this. I had us more walking down a street in the evening, overcoats
Okay.
on and everything.
Okay.
And I'm like maybe giving him a little push, stepping back, creating distance between us so that I have an excuse to bring my voice up a bit.
I definitely heard the approach you were going for, and I like that.
Okay.
My problem with it is that I didn't hear an emotional journey on this one. It was all like the one note.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's try this. Let's try this. We'll modify the scene just slightly.
Okay.
Whoever you're talking to, it's your partner, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, your partner didn't insult you; they insulted the person you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay.
See what that does. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Man, forget about that. I think it's what you don't choose that defines you. Your family, your neighborhood, your city. Most of us take pride in these things, or in any accomplishment. Cities wrapped around bodies, wrapped around their souls. This block has been my home since I was born, and the people in the neighborhood are my people. If finding missing people is your main job, then it's important to know where they came from. This city can be brutal. I hunt for those who landed in the cracks, then fell completely through.
Okay. Opening it up. What did you guys think of that one?
I think honestly for me the little bit of accent work there, it was like so subtle but so like I couldn't tell how how intense or how I don't know. It kind of distracted me a little bit, but I
Oh, I'm
think
sorry.
yeah, no worries.
Did you just apologize for your
I'm
no worries. But I think otherwise the choices that you're making were solid. I liked there was a sort of ramp up towards the middle, so I think that was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely heard more of a journey on this one, so good job on that.
That's good.
My only little quibble is that the line about this city can be brutal felt a little over the top for me.
Really?
Okay. Interesting.
Oh,
It
okay.
had a completely different emotion behind it than I did previously. This wasn't like me saying it because it's affected me, which I had previously. This was like you can't blame people for the decisions that they make when they are coming up from this city. This city hurts people. Do you feel like that was too much for that? It's okay if you do feel that way.
I mean,
I don't.
my initial reaction was my initial reaction, and it's hard for me to go back and revisit it
Sure.
and say, "Oh,
That is
I see where you were coming from."
that is fair.
And I'm actually more curious about Michael's reaction there, like because he apparently had a
Okay.
completely different reaction than I did.
Yeah, you see, for me, it sounded, Alex, like you had like this sort of ebb and flow of emotions. Um, I mean, if I wanted to get super nitpicky about the performance, I actually think you probably could have been more emphatic in a lot of what you said, especially as you were getting closer to the end of the script. Um, but even though it was, in my opinion, a bit more subdued than I think you had the room to move, um, to me, nothing really stuck out as being like overacted or too much for what it was
Okay.
going for. In fact, in my
Right.
opinion, I felt like, this city can be brutal when he was starting to go there. I felt that there could have been some more ramp up, especially if you were,
Oh.
especially if Alex was trying to like shut down his partner's like, dissing this person that they don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
standing up for them. So,
All right. I can see that.
I was
On
just
this block has been my home line, and I could see a fist banging into a table on that one.
yeah, or like a stern point down or something like that. Yeah.
That point down is what I was doing on my desk.
Nice, nice, nice.
Ellis, were you trying to say something?
Yes, I was. I was gonna say I think that the emotional space is right about where I would have wanted it, but I think what Leonard's hearing is that since this accent is pretty thick, when you go into can be brutal. It makes it seem a little more intense than it probably is emotionally. I think that's probably where that's coming from.
All right, I could see that.
Maybe. Anyway, I certainly wouldn't want to make you retake it for that. I
Okay.
think we're good with what you got.
No, you read again? No way, Alex. No.
I ain't never reading again in my life.
Yeah, all of these auditions, I'm just gonna think them. I'm just gonna send them a blank email. They'll have to figure it out.
I'm gonna improvise every audition from now on.
Just
Every
gonna do
single
your
one.
own thing. I'm just gonna read some random like book and just send him a section of that.
I look at the character image and I just go, he would probably say this.
Yeah, that would be one interesting exercise. Let me tell you.
No, dude, you gotta type out exactly how you would emphasize it and everything. It would go so crazy.
You just
Leave little notes in the margins of like, okay, angry, he's gritting his teeth. Like, it would be super funny.
Well, maybe we could try that out at a different time. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap the stream up. That doesn't mean that we're done working out. We still have some people to get to. So, but we are going to call the recorded portion of the workout done for today. Thank you all so much for watching. You know where all the stuff is down below. Once again, thank you so much to those of you who have decided to support us over on Coffee. We've got some cool choices that we're making behind the scenes on what to do with that, but we'll update you more when we have some like real specifics on it. For right now, we're kind of keeping the plans a little under wraps, but again, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.